I'm uploading a half an hour long video to Barklord on science. It may fail. I don't know. It seems like it's taking a lot of time right at the end. But we'll just have to see. If I re-upload it, then this one will be come up before it, and so we'll whatever. Just they might be out of order. Kavich made a reply insisting that the moon landing is science, and I mean, in one sense, this kind of thing doesn't matter. I take two roads at once on it. I mean, one is like, okay, let's just say we're not going to fight over sounds, okay? And I go, okay, the moon landing could be science. Well, I want a word for the research part, because people keep saying, well, my father was an electrician and he had to understand the science of connectors. I'm like, yeah, understanding it. That's not an experiment to see how it works. That's an application of things already discovered. Application is applied physics / engineering. And people aren't getting my examples either, because they're in there with their, oh, that's so stupid, I think it had something to do with science instead of magic. Like, that's the option, science or magic. What about applied science? And then the people recognize the distinctions between applied and it's all the same. Okay, well, I want a word for the science, the non-applied, the research part. Because we need to make this distinction. I mean, you guys are going, oh, it's all science. And that's why we hate scientists. And, well, not literally, but in Barklord's side, it's like, and that's what we hold against scientists. And I'm like, well, can we separate out the good and bad? Like, no, I don't want to really acknowledge that. Yeah, there's good, innocuous applications, but they all require the bad stuff, so we're just going to throw it off. No. This is a huge distinction. The scientists have no trouble knowing pure science and research from applied science and engineering. No trouble whatsoever. Job titles don't have a trouble well, they have a little bit of trouble. The word science is used a lot. If an engineer supports science, that does not make them a scientist. It does not make what they do science. It means they're helping out. Now, there's always blurry distinctions. Somebody pointed out a good thing of like Planck and got a grant of some sort to look into how to make a better light filament. But that isn't the whole contribution. That's just somebody that had reason to help him figure out the model of the atom. And he didn't go, hey, I succeeded and made better light bulbs. He's just like, he used that research to find that out, and it helped him model the atom. That's the way I put that. Yeah, they're tied together. It does not make them the same thing. And we have to look at them as distinct things and then say, oh, but look, they're joined together at the hip then. And then look at that connection. We can't just go, oh, they're all one thing, and just assume they're all so connected, they have an atomicity together as one thing. I don't think. Now, I'm willing to acknowledge the negative things in science. I consider that, a giving conversationalist technique. Okay, I'll look at this. Okay, I'll admit, yeah, Archimedes is war and science melded together. But I want to do that because I want to clean that out of science still more. I think it's already cleaned out of you. When I use examples like CERN or telescopes, yeah, I don't think you can pitch that there's anything, except for you could say, oh, but a corrupt society produced the motors that go in it. Yeah, and you're going to blame that on science. Like science was gone, then no society wouldn't be corrupt. How is it going to help? How is it more than a symptom, the problems in science? Now, I was thinking you could say science is easily exploitable. Both the knowledge is indiscriminate in who could use it, but also scientists themselves. They tend to be a little Aspergery about their subject, and if they're looking for a job and somebody says, hey, I'll pay you to be in this lab, it doesn't have to be exactly what they'd want to do for them to put their little wheels in motion necessarily. There's a lot of scientists who are like, no, I won't compromise. There's plenty of people with some scientific skills that would do that. And that's why I say you can't be anti-science, because those guys are going to keep hiring the scientists, the ones that want them to do something different and figure out how to kill people better. You need to figure out a way to hire the scientists, because what the scientist really wants to do is, draw a picture of what an atom looks like inside. Okay, it takes different kinds of personality. I'm willing to look at the argument that, well, no, it takes both. You have to have somebody like Edison that wants to exploit it in order to keep justifying doing it. Well, people did it as just a hobby, but okay, modern science, the industry of it, okay, let's say. Then we need to talk about that union, because it isn't the same two types of personality that think that way about the knowledge. So I'm willing to say, well, society has 1,000 different major ways, or an infinite or whatever, of looking at getting and applying knowledge. Okay, and they're all intertwined. But you still have to look at individuals and what their real motivation is. Because why? Because you can say, well, research from a university has to be public. That changes what the making money off of a guy has available to him to accomplish his goals. You don't have to, try to say science is a bad thing because these people are using it badly, because we don't want to do that. We want people like Joel Salatin that wants to have a cooperation between the humanness of a human and the pigness of a pig. He needs to get that knowledge. How are we going to fix things? How are we going to make green technology? How are we going to get clean solar energy if we don't look into the photoelectric effect? Yeah, I don't buy, well, we can just go back, because the only time man ever had a better impact on the earth was because there was a lot fewer of us. It was not been because of our attitudes. And we're still having sex and multiplying. So going back to few people, it's just coincidence with the rise of science. Getting rid of science isn't going to put us with less people. And the problem of figuring out how to live with this many people on this planet sustainably is one that science can answer. And you say it doesn't matter if they do military research or peacetime research. Oh, well, yeah, it does, because military research won't answer that. So I think there's some distinctions. I mean, I could take a tack if you want. The words mean what you guys want. Just have clear definitions. Let me use those definitions. Stick with them. And I need terms for the aspects I need to talk about.